Another yearly Call of Duty release. I feel like we've been here before. Maybe 16 years in a row? I wonder what they're gonna do this time. Maybe we'll go to space. They've done that already. Maybe we'll go to Vietnam and explore the horrors of that war. We've done that too. Maybe we'll go into the far future where everything is so scientifically inaccurate that it doesn't even seem plausible anymore. We've also done that. So, let's just go back to World War II and call it a day. This video is sponsored by the coldest water. Honestly, with the pandemic and me personally making the attempt to be healthier, having a bottle of water this size has really helped me to start drinking more water as opposed to soda. I've made it my personal goal to drink at least one full bottle a day, and it's honestly helped me cut down on tossing out water bottles every day at my morning job. It's really great having my drink cold throughout my whole work shift and my ice being completely unmelted. Not to mention it keeps your drinks cold for up to 36 hours, which really helps for this blazing hot summer. It also gives me that comfort knowing that I have the insurance of not only keeping my drink cold in the summer, but keeping my drink hot in the wintertime when I sit back and relax with some hot chocolate. For up to 12 hours if I'm an overachiever. Not to mention this is one of the first bottles I've owned like this that has a straw, so that's an added bonus for gas mask wearing nerds like me. Links are in the description and the comments section for those of you who want to check it out too. And for those of you out there who want this specific kind of bottle, this is the coldest 32-ounce sports bottle. Alright, so we just saw the multiplayer reveal for Call of Duty Vanguard, and judging by the like to dislike ratio, it seems like even the hardcore COD community who eats up the games every year is starting to see that this game franchise is just oversaturated and boring nowadays. This is sort of a continuation of my last Let's Rant about playing older games as opposed to newer ones because of this blatant money grabbing by Activision. While it does look cool to the average observer, I don't really see anything in this game that sets it apart from Call of Duty World War II. Maybe some of the visual appeal is different, but advertising things like destructible environments has been a thing since Battlefield Bad Company 2, and even before that with Red Faction Guerrilla. Call of Duty has always had a really bad time with advertising new features in their games. I'm sure some of us remember the whole debacle with the fish AI in Call of Duty Ghosts. I think the excitement for these games has kind of died down since we've sort of had the same annual experience for the last 14 or 15 years. I remember back in middle school when Modern Warfare 2 was the game to be playing and talking about. It was the definitive multiplayer shooter at the time and everyone, including myself, loved it. I also really loved World at War because unlike the Modern Warfare series of games at the time, it wasn't afraid to be gory and dark with its themes where you could blow the limbs off of enemies, their heads, and so forth. It showed you the darker side of war, and added a disturbing element to each kill that I haven't really seen replicated that well in a COD game since. Let's flash forward to 2010 when I was a freshman in high school, and Black Ops was the most groundbreaking Call of Duty to date. I loved it and still do because it honestly has some of my favorite gameplay in the series, and it kept the dark themes of World at War and even added some new ones. Of course, newer games in the series like the Modern Warfare reboot do have some pretty gory elements in them, like getting torn up into bloody paste by a helicopter blade, for example. However, I think this all falls back on the problems that annual game releases have as a whole. Call of Duty has released a game every single year since 2005. The only time that they didn't have a game was 2004. That's 16 years of games in this series being released. What I said in the last Let's Rant rings true in this one as well. When a game becomes an annual release, it loses the excitement and the hype for it because it becomes an expectation instead of speculation. We absolutely know that a game in the series is coming out every year. I think this oversaturation for the past 16 years has made it very hard for them to experiment and try new things. If you take out some of the newer features such as Warzone, you have generally the same exact formula for every game every single year. This is to the point where even up to Black Ops 3 you could swap out for previous weapons in the franchise with mods because the games used the same engine for the longest time. They may still use the same engine, I don't know, I haven't kept up with it. However, I don't want to trash on, nor do I want anyone watching this to trash on the developers themselves. I honestly feel really bad that they aren't able to work on anything but the Call of Duty franchise because Activision has a very short leash on them. Treyarch I really respect as a development team because they made my favorite games in the franchise such as World at War and the Black Ops games. Save for Black Ops 4 and Cold War as I haven't played either of those. I think even some of the newer games have their value, such as Black Ops 3 which actually has Steam Workshop support. This allows you to download mods and maps on the fly with ease without having to manually set up anything, or download sketchy executable files off of websites. I think Black Ops 3 is probably the definitive zombies experience, even more so than World at War due to the workshop support, and the fact that Treyarch released the Zombie Chronicles DLC, which remastered a lot of the old classic maps for the newer generation game. And I think the fact that they released this DLC 2 or 3 years after Black Ops 3 released is great. Having this constant support for older games is something I wish that Call of Duty would do, because look at Dying Light. Dying Light came out in 2015, and there are still new content updates coming out for that game. Now, going back to the past for a second, what a lot of people don't know is that Treyarch actually made Spider-Man 2, probably one of the best, if not the best, movie license game ever made, where its web-slinging system inspired Spider-Man for the PS4 and PS5. There's a lot of talent there, and it's a shame that it's wasted on making the same game over and over again. I'm sure there's people in these studios who are very passionate about the series, and to see the creativity crushed by the corporate meddling of Activision is disheartening. This honestly brings to mind an interview with some Obsidian devs who were interviewed about people using the Outer Worlds to trash on Fallout 76.
As we said before, making games is very hard. No one sets out to make a bad game. People spend years of their lives in very difficult circumstances, having to put everything they have into games and then have those games come out and not do well is a crushing experience. We had our own company went out of business. The fact that, people think we're trying to say something about another company's or another company's games that people have put their heart and soul into is not something that we're really, happy about. We don't really want to foster that kind of thing. We're really proud of what we're doing, and we're really happy to be able to make this game, and we hope people enjoy it for what it is.
The world's big enough for a bunch of different kind of games.
Yeah.
So if you're going to hate on anyone, hate on the corporation and not the devs who spend hours upon hours and sometimes crunch to get these games out on time. They're just doing what they're assigned to. Most times they have absolutely no say at all. So just have a little empathy for those guys. Save for those pieces of shit at Activision Blizzard and the people in the offices who are sexually harassing others and destroying evidence. Don't show empathy for them. Those guys can go to hell for all I care. Overall, I think what they should do is focus on things like Warzone and keeping that up to date with new content for its massive player base, and take a break for about 2 or 3 years and come back with something awesome. And also work on your file sizes. There are tons of games that have absolutely beautiful visuals, and they're generally around 60 gigs. We don't need a 100 gig update and then expect us to get the next game that's like 200 gigs and expect to have more than one game on our console. It just doesn't work like that because most of the consoles nowadays are like a 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte limit. But going back to Call of Duty's overall release strategy with this rotating developer tactic they're using with Sledgehammer, Treyarch, and Infinity Ward, it doesn't really give them enough time to be innovative and really blow us away with something new. But because I'm pessimistic about this sort of thing, I know that people are going to buy this. I know that people like big name streamers and YouTubers are going to praise Vanguard as the next coming of Christ like they do every year. I know that IGN is going to give it an 8 or 9 out of 10. This was apparent even when Infinite Warfare's trailer came out and it had a massive dislike to like ratio. All I can do as an individual is voice my opinion and hope that someone takes it to heart. That's all I've got to say about this, and I'm just going to leave you with this quote from Voss.
Did I ever tell you what the definition of insanity is? Insanity is doing the exact same fucking thing over and over again, expecting shit to change. That is crazy. But the first time somebody told me that, I don't know, I thought they were bullshitting me, so boom, I shot him. The thing is, okay, he was right. And then I started seeing it everywhere I looked, all these fucking pricks, everywhere I looked, doing the exact same fucking thing, over and over and over and over and over again, thinking, this time is gonna be different. No, please, this time is gonna be different. Did I ever tell you the definition of insanity?